Hey guys, it's time now to do our out-of-box review for the Master Grade Hyaku-Shiki version 2.0. Now I think with this being a 2.0, and especially because of just the fact that it's the Hyaku-Shiki and it's gold, I think basically the big things that you're going to be looking for in this kit is that it's got a super improved inner frame and proportions with it being a 2.0, and that it's got a really nice gold finish because it's the Hyaku-Shiki and we want it to be gold. Now, of course, you can always strip the paint and repaint it gold. I should just mention now that the runners that the gold is painted on, if you strip off the gold, those runners are kind of a like translucent, kind of clear, white clear kind of plastic underneath. When you're just cutting the pegs, it looks black, but that's just because the part's coated in plastic. But once it's all stripped, it's like a clear white kind of color. If you're interested in doing that anyway, if you wanted to leave it that color, you could, but you probably want to just be repainting it gold. But anyway, so yeah, does this kit have a improved inner frame, improved proportions, and a nice gold finish? I would say yes, definitely, all of those things. The gold finish is not perfect, of course, because anything that comes pre-plated on the runners, you're going to have nub marks, of course, but I think they did a pretty good job designing this kit with that in mind, in that there aren't very many very noticeable nub marks on the gold parts. There are a few nasty gold marks on some of the other, nasty nub marks on some of the other parts, but I mean, those are, pretty normal. You're gonna pretty normally have some larger nasty nubs somewhere on the kit sometimes, so that's not really all that surprising, I guess. It just happens. So yeah, as far as the inner frame, it's really nice. Actually, the inner frame was really enjoyable to build. It's quite nice, and I definitely felt like it's 2.0 Master Grade. So it has that going for it. I really like the proportions that we've got going on here. I think it almost looks like it should be a Verka kit, just because of the kind of the way that they've got it designed now, and just the really long legs. It's a very leggy mobile suit, and in that way it just kind of looks like it should almost be a Verka design. So it's got that going for it, and for me that's a good thing because I'm always a big fan of that style of mobile suit design. And I think just overall it's got everything looking very nice. So the other thing that it has going for it is some really nice parts separation in there. So a lot of these like really small details you see poking out among the gold and other parts is all like not stickers or anything like that. It's all detail parts from underneath coming through holes in the plastic on the gold part. Has a lot of areas where there's just really small holes where like the frame will pop through. So if you're going to be painting that, that'll be really nice. These like tiny red details on the arms, in the shoulders, that's all molded. Of course there's some red detail inside the thrusters there. Here up on the shoulder, these red parts poking out of the shoulder armor, that's a molded red part underneath. This gray piece down the center of the chest, that's a molded detail. I do have a couple of stickers on here. This kit doesn't really have all that many. Just to remind you, here's our foil sticker sheet. There's basically the 3 for the eyes, the 3 cameras, 1 on the rifle, and then 2 on the front and back of the head. I have those on there, and then these 8 smaller ones are all going on the fins on the back, the top and the bottom, 1 on each side on both of those fins. The other 2 eyes you can use with the clear piece. Now here's our clear pieces. All of them are used except I have 1 clear piece there on the kit. It was just like the plain clear, but then these 2, you can see this one has that molded kind of digital effect molded in there, and then this one has the eyes molded in there. It's kind of strange, like in the instruction manual it said to place just like the clear, just the plain black sticker, I think it was, just under there, and then put in this piece with the eyes, and then put the sticker with the eyes on top of that. But what I did is just stick the eye sticker underneath and then just the plain clear piece on top of that. But anyway, there's a lot of options what you can do, I think, with that. Just to go over a couple of extra things that you're going to get with the kit, of course we got our action base connector here, and then we have a couple of extra pieces, just an extra antenna, which is the one that goes on the head, an extra set of ammo that goes in the bazooka, but no clip for that. We do have our standing Quattro Vagina figure. The seated one is inside the cockpit, but then we also have an extra set as well, because if you remember from the unboxing, that was doubled runner. So you've got 2 standing figures and 2 seated ones. So that's pretty cool. If you've got an extra, you can practice your hand painting there, so that's nice. We have our 2 yellow beam effect parts. The beam sabers are mounted on the back of the mobile suit. As it comes around, you'll be able to see that. I really like the design of the beam sabers, and we'll take a look at those more closely here in a minute, but there you can see those are mounted on there, looking very nice. Then again, we do have the parts here. These are the parts to connect the balut pack. If you have that, the Premium Bandai balut pack, you can use these parts to connect that to the mobile suit. And then we had our set of stickers and dry transfers as well that you can put on there if you want. Okay, so before we talk about the weapons totally, let's go ahead and take a look closer up and talk about some of the articulation. It's a really nice articulation in the head. Whoops, well, I guess I might as well show you now. It's pretty easy to just take off the top of the head if you wanted to switch that eye part. It doesn't connect on there super securely, but it's okay because it just makes it easy to take off if you want to switch the eyes there. But it's going to go up about that far, not all that much, but down plenty there. The cockpit hatch is a really cool gimmick, but it's really hard to kind of use. These doors are supposed to close more, but I can't really get them to close at the moment. So if you've noticed, for the whole first part of the review so far, they've been open. They're not supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be closed more, and I think there's maybe some trick to it, but I don't know, I can't figure it out. Anyway, they're supposed to be closed more, not totally, but a little bit more in. And then to open the cockpit hatch, you're supposed to just open those out and then flip this up, which I'm probably also going to have trouble doing here, but let me try. There we go, like that. And then the seated figure is inside there. Then you just close that up, and you're supposed to just close these as well. But like I said, I think that feature is not really designed in the best way. They just don't really want to do that. But as you can tell, while we're here at the waist, we've got some really amazing articulation there at the waist, because it's like just barely connected on there. It's super thin at the waist section, and it's just makes for some really nice articulation there. Side to side, a lot of side to side movement there, a lot of side back movement. Going back like that, I guess it's not too much back, but forward we've got quite a lot there, so really nice ab crunch. The shoulders are really nice, so much so that they were advertising that on the side of the box as well. Shoulder joints come out nice and far, and they're nice and sturdy and solid. The shoulder armor is the type that just clips down on, so you don't have to like thread it onto the peg before you put on the arm. You can just put on the arm, and then the shoulder armor just drops down on there. This part on the shoulder armor, of course, moves a little bit there. Just pop that back on. The arm is just pretty normal, swivels there, a double joint here, and then it has a joint at the just above the wrist as well, so just here. Let me see if I can do it. There we go, just a little bit of movement there. And the hands, as I was building the hands, I thought they looked super huge, and even now they do look really big. If you just look at them, kind of compare with the mobile suit, the hands look really, really big, but they are really nice. They're molded with the different parts, so like the first finger is separated and the second, third, and fourth fingers are joined, but if you wanted to just cut those apart, you could do that. They're all connected to each other, and they're all connected by their own ball joint into the hand, so you could separate all 4 of the fingers if you wanted to. There is a tiny, just inside there, which I think is the part that shoots that, like, what is it? It's kind of like a net, or like that gummy stuff, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the part that shoots something there out of the front of the hand. There's a tiny little silver piece in there, so it's just nice that we've just got like even such a tiny little detail like that, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, the hands are still kind of big, but I guess when you've got like such a really nice design going on here and all this gold, the size of the hands is not really something you're going to notice too much. Front skirts are really nice. All the skirts are just pretty normal. I mean, nothing really special there. And the legs as well are just pretty normal. As we saw in the manual, they do some like backwards bending as well, but not really sure if you're really going to want to do anything with that. Of course, really nice bend at the knee, no problems there at all, and then the ankles are very nice as well. We've got that nice piston detail up inside the shin, and then it's just some really nice ankles there. So no problem at all, nice bend in the toe. And then the box, as advertised on the box, we have a little bit of armor movement here on the back of the leg. These parts are going to open up a little bit like that. It's not a whole lot, but it's something kind of cool. These wing binders on the backpack are very, very nicely articulated, very strong. They can basically move any which way you want. You can rotate them like that, you can move them closer, you can move them up, and this part on the wing bends as well, and all of that. So again, but it is just something that's hard to get lined up if you're going for something symmetrical. These boosters, or these thrusters on the backpack, have a little bit of movement up and down, not a whole lot, but just something there. And then this back skirt is just one solid piece. The handles for the beam sabers just come out like that. Let me set this up here, as we're pretty much done talking about the articulation for this. We can just go ahead and transition into talking about the weapons now. Here's the beam saber. Looks really, really nice. Looks like a gold beam saber out of something like Star Wars or something like that. When we've got the effect part in there, it's going to look something like this. So definitely very cool. It has the little tiny plastic part, little tiny plastic tab in there that you're going to need to push out and then connect that into the hand. You might need to use your blade. I'll have to get that in a minute. You have to push out that tab, and that connects with a tab inside the hand as well. Inside the hand there we've got the tab that folds out, and then you'll connect those two together like that. So pretty nice system, I like that, but you just have to be careful with those tabs. They can break pretty easily, especially once you've got some paint on there. They are really small parts, so just be a little bit careful. While I'm here, I'm forgetting there was another point of articulation I forgot to talk about, and that is the hips. The hips have this joint that kind of swings out and down like that. Looks very goofy, but if you're wanting to do some like more really exaggerated poses with this, that can come in handy for you. So just something that you can use as well when you're doing your crazy posing. And here you can see under the skirt armor we've got some pretty cool, some gold detail poking out through there from this piece, goes through there, and then we've got some frames sticking out on the front. So again, kind of cool just how they've got like the details poking through the frame and the armor like that. All looks good. But anyway, back to the weapons. We've also got the beam rifle here, which is pretty basic, but I mean it's accurate to how it's supposed to look. Got a yellow, green sticker there on the sight on the front underneath, which is pretty unique. It's not often we have a sight underneath like that. And then it's all just in this gray, like the inner frame, with one blue part and then one molded gold part there. Has the same tab function in the handle that folds out and plugs into the hand. You can fold the handle back like that for when you're mounting on the backpack, and when you fold it forward, if you watch carefully, when you fold it forward, it pushes out this tab on the back. You can then lift that up like so, and then fold the handle down, and then that's how you're going to mount it onto the backpack. I'll show you that in a minute, but it's going to stick onto there like that. Then we have the bazooka, which is also pretty simple but cool. We have a little bit of silver detail poking out there on the sides, but otherwise it's just all in this gray color. We do have the ammo clip, which plugs into there. You can pull that out, and it's got the red ammo inside of there, if I can pull it out. Anyway, it looks the same as this extra piece we had, but that's in there, so just some nice detail if you wanted to use that in some sort of pose. It's pretty nice, pretty basic. And then the handle on this does also fold up, forward like that, and then uses the same tab function there. So, and then this part here is what attaches it onto the backpack. That doesn't move at all, it's just fixed onto there, so it's just always going to be up. So here on the backpack, on the two sides there, you can see there's a small little gray part on the side, and that's where you're supposed to plug in the weapons. It says to put the bazooka on this side, but I think it doesn't really matter. It could really do whichever one you want, I guess, but just to follow the guide, the bazooka just plugs onto that side like that, the rifle onto the other side, and that's that. Turn it around, and there you go. The weapons are mounted onto the backpack. No big deal, they hold on there really nice. Both of the weapons are pretty light, and I mean, the suit's already a little bit back heavy just because of the backpack, but it's still not that much, and those weapons aren't really going to add to it all that much. And you're probably going to want this up on action base anyway, just to really make the most out of its dynamic inner frame. So you don't really need to worry about the balance too much, I don't think. So with that, why don't we put this up on action base? Well, I'll admit it's not the most amazing pose, but anyway, I think you get the idea that you're not going to have a whole lot of trouble getting this kit into basically whatever pose you want. I did find out that it's kind of hard to get the bazooka actually up on top of the shoulder, which is what I was originally going for when I started to pose it. But I found that under the arm it actually works really well, where usually we kind of have the opposite problem where usually it's kind of hard to get a bazooka under the arm, but for this one it does work just fine. Anyway, there's loads of different posing options that you could do with the bazooka, the beam rifle, the beam sabers, so 2 of them. So a lot of really fun stuff that you could do with this kit. If you remember from my unboxing, I had one gold piece that was a little bit kind of scratched, scuffed. That's actually the piece on the top of the shoulder, but it's this shoulder here, so I just made that part facing the back. You can, the shoulders are the same, you can kind of, or at least that top part is the same, you can switch it. So I put it on this side so it's facing the back. So you probably didn't even notice it throughout this review. And if I keep this kit just unpainted, or like just keep it as it is, at least the gold parts, then again, like probably no one would ever really notice that scratched part, but it is still just a shame that that was there. Hopefully if you guys get this kit, or if you already have, you didn't have that problem. I think I was just unlucky because the way that they package the runners just in individual bags I think is really nice, and it usually should keep the parts from getting scratched like that, but like I said, I think I just got unlucky and got a scratched one. There are some areas around on the gold parts where you can see like some lines in the gold from like in the paint from like kind of where it was just kind of sprayed a little bit unevenly, and as I said in the unboxing too, just the gold is a little bit uneven, but it doesn't really bother me that much because most of the time you can't really notice it on any of the parts, and even when you can, it doesn't really look bad in any way, just because I think the gold on this still looks really nice. I do prefer the look of this gold much more than the Phoenix. A lot of people were saying that this gold, like on the Phoenix, is just going to be like a magnet for fingerprints. I didn't really notice that. I had my hands all over this kit so far while I was building it. I wasn't wearing gloves or anything, and then just throughout the review I haven't been wearing gloves or anything like that. I haven't wiped on any fingerprints, and I can't see any fingerprints on it, so I don't think you're really going to have that problem too much with this. I guess if you looked really closely you might find something, but otherwise it's not really going to be a problem. But I think the nice thing about it is that if you don't want to strip off that gold paint and repaint it, this is the kind of kit that is going to look really, really nice just out of the box. I mean, I think it still might be a good idea to go ahead and paint the frame and the weapons and like the body, basically everything that's not gold. I would say probably go ahead and paint all of that. But if you wanted to just keep that gold, you already got a really nice gold finish on there. There are some areas where you're gonna see nubs, especially like on the mostly like everything on the body is pretty okay as far as nubs. There's only like a few like really small ones, and they're pretty not really noticeable. The only really noticeable ones are going to be on the backpack and on the beam saber handles. The beam saber handles have some pretty big ones, and then on the backpack there are some pretty big nub marks around on these areas here. But again, you're really not going to notice it unless you're really looking for it, unless you're looking really closely, or if you're looking at it from behind and from the front even, you definitely can't see anything at all, so that's good. So ultimately, this kit is definitely recommended. It is a little bit pricier, but I think if you're a fan of the design or just a fan of the look of this or the Hyaku-Shiki, then I would definitely recommend it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, comments, something I missed, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm sure there's quite a bit, and I'm sorry it's shaking a little bit there. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.